Well, joining us now from London is the news editor for Huck magazine, Michael Segeloff, who's a Labour Party member. And here in the studio is the columnist and former Labour MP, Tom Harris, whose new book is entitled 10 Years in the Death of the Labour Party. Thank you both for joining us. Tom Harris, Jeremy Corbyn attends a Jewish festival and yet still faces accusations of anti-Semitism. How can that be?
I'm not sure anyone's accusing Jeremy Corbyn personally of being anti-Semitic, but what he has done is he has once again opened up questions about his own judgment. I mean, last week was a big step forward for the Labour leadership. For the first time, they finally admitted that anti-Semitism is a real problem in the Labour Party. And in Jeremy Corbyn's own word, he admitted that it was more than just a few bad apples. And they said they're taking it seriously. And then he goes to this event last night, hosted by an organisation which not only has described Israel as a steaming pile of sewage that should be disposed of, which at the very least is certainly provocative, but this is an organisation which subscribes to the conspiracy theory that Jeremy Corbyn himself has just recently denounced, which is all of this stuff about anti-Semitism is just a right-wing smear against him. Corbyn himself has said that's not the case, that it's a real issue. And he sits down with people who are dismissive of the scandal of anti-Semitism in the Labour Party.
Michael Segeloff, a misjudgment by Jeremy Corbyn?
No, not at all. Let's be clear about what happened last night once and for all. Jeremy Corbyn attended a Seder, a Jewish festival event, with his Jewish constituents after a long-standing invitation to celebrate a Jewish festival. To suggest anything other than him going to a Jewish community event as being anti-Semitic is absurd. To suggest bad judgment is absurd. I've been thinking to myself all day, what could I do if I was Jeremy Corbyn and had a long-term plan to attend this event? What, cancel it, call his Jewish constituents and tell them that he couldn't attend their Jewish event because some people, mostly non-Jewish people, might call them anti-Semitic. That would be absurd. What really worries me, though, and I think we should talk about this in the fallout from the way this has been discussed, and I sort of understand why Guido Fawkes, the right-wing blog site, published this story. You know, they have no investment in the Jewish community, and they certainly have no interest in the Labour Party. But fundamentally, the response has been really disconcerting. Firstly, from some people, some Labour MPs in particular, who took to Twitter last night to denounce Judas as Jews who are unworthy, I think John Woodcock MP said that by attending this Seder, Jeremy Corbyn was somehow making their Judaism okay, and these extreme Jews, he called them. And he's not the only one to do that. And that really worries me, because this good Jew, bad Jew narrative has no place in our society. But also, we've seen the Jewish community come out and show some really disconcerting tropes, I suppose. Jonathan Anarchist, who's the chair of the Board of Deputies, which is a representative body for the Jewish community in the United Kingdom, supposedly, came out and called this group of Jewish people anti-Semitic, said they spread racist tropes despite the fact this is a group who have continually organised and campaigned against anti-Semitism. They're a group who produced a leaflet which explicitly suggested to people how they could criticise the state of Israel without being anti-Semitic. Now, if Jeremy hadn't engaged with other people on this issue, and I think this is important, if he'd not been speaking to the Board of Deputies, not been speaking to the Jewish Leadership Council, there might be some reason to criticise him here. But he has been. A letter went back to the JLC and to the Board of Deputies this evening from the leader's office, once again offering to meet them with no conditions. This is an absurd storm in a teacup.
Let me put these points to Tom Harris. Did Jeremy Corbyn have any option?
Well, yes, of course he did. He's the leader of the Labour Party. He could easily have phoned up the organisers, as Michael's suggesting, and say, you know, not that you're the wrong kind of Jews. He could have phoned up and said, listen, I've seen what you've said publicly about Israel, and that is offensive to me personally and to the vast majority of people in the country. I've seen what you've said about dismissing anti-Semitism in the Labour Party. I hope you understand that given the events of the last week, it's not appropriate for me to attend. He could have done that. He could have disappointed his hosts. But the problem with Jeremy is he returns to his comfort zone. He likes speaking to audiences that know what he's going to say, and he will always tell them what they want to hear. He's done this throughout his whole career, and he went there last night because they've supported him all the way through his career as a backbencher, supporting all these left-wing causes. It's not that they're the wrong kind of Jews, it's that this organisation is extreme left-wing, they're anarchists apparently, and they're not just anti-Zionists, they want to remove Israel from the map.
Okay, well, Michael, this is rumbling on. Why isn't Jeremy Corbyn seemingly able to close it down?
Well, I mean, I think we should personally point out this was only a few days ago that this story broke. It's unlikely that Jeremy Corbyn would have been able to tackle anti-Semitism both in the Labour Party, a party of 550 or 600,000 members, and a society with over 60 million people, when anti-Semitism has been, sadly, a plague in our society in this country and beyond for centuries.
But could he do more?
Well, yeah, I think there's a lot of work to be done. I'm really pleased that Jeremy's made the steps that have happened in the last few weeks. Clearly there's an issue with anti-Semitism in the Labour Party, as in there is in the society more broadly, and the research from the Community Security Trust, the CST, makes it perfectly clear that anti-Semitism is a bigger problem on the right than on the left. But what really worries me, and again I think it's worth hammering this point home, is that it was only 2 months ago that the Community Security Trust, the CST, released figures that said that anti-Semitism in the United Kingdom was at its highest ever level in modern history. Violent incidents up 34%. That number hits 60% in the United States. And there's a deafening silence from many people today chiming in once again to criticise Jeremy Corbyn about his approach to anti-Semitism, when 2 months ago figures came out that said this problem was rife and real. And it does worry me that some people, and I think we saw this last night with those MPs rushing to condemn certain types of Jews, don't really understand the nuances of our community, don't really understand the issues at play.
Let me put that to Tom Harris then. Are people from your wing of the party using this to undermine Jeremy Corbyn?
No, the reason that people from my wing of the Labour Party and right across the Labour Party, the reason we are raising this is because we are members of the party, we are concerned about the direction the party is going, and we are ashamed that in a party that I've been a member of for 34 years, anti-Semitism is even raising its head. We've had the leader of the Labour Party actually admitting that anti-Semitism is a big problem. There is no doubt that it has increased since he became the leader. And the reason for that is because anti-Semitism has always been a part of the extreme left and the extreme right. And when Jeremy Corbyn became leader of the Labour Party, an awful lot of those people recognised, and they were right, recognised that his leadership of the party made the Labour Party more welcoming to conspiracists and anti-Semites on the extreme left of the Labour Party. And we've got to get rid of them.
Very, very briefly on that point, and very finally, Michael, because time is running out from us, how would you respond to that people from fringes have come into the party under Jeremy Corbyn?
Yeah, no, I agree. There's 550, 600,000 members in Labour now. It's the biggest political party in Western Europe. Clearly, there's an effort to be made by the party bureaucracy and the party leadership to take this on. And I'd like to make it clear, this doesn't just mean kicking people out of the party who are anti-Semitic or express kind of these bizarre conspiracy theory sentiments. It means taking a serious look at how we educate people, both within the Labour Party, because lots of people who saw that mural a few weeks ago, lots of young people, certainly, who I spoke to, didn't understand the context there, but also investing in political education in this country to make sure this can't happen again. Anti-Semitism exists in our society. That's a problem, and that needs to be tackled.
And there we'll have to leave it. Thank you both for joining us in Scotland tonight. Thank you.